Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Tulu Hall Talks. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed. My numbers are going up. I'm close to 500. Thank you to everyone that's taken the time to click the button. Please feel free to follow, share, comment, help me grow my little channel. In my last video, I spoke about leaving the abusive relationship. And I think I didn't do it justice because I think I made it sound almost as though I left and it was the most easiest thing. I'm going to be honest, guys. These attachments that we have in relationships, and although the relationship was very toxic, it was someone that I did love. And so leaving him took a lot of strength. It took a lot of strength. It took a lot of determination. And it took a lot of drive. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe that there's a better tomorrow, you'll stay. And there were so many moments in my preparation for leaving that I was conflicting emotions. I had conflicting emotions. I would feel like, oh my gosh, I have to leave him. But then what happens? So even though doors opened, I'm not going to make it sound as though it was the easiest thing. The most important thing I think I'd like to share is that faith, having faith in a God, having faith in a higher power is where my strength came from. Now, I know other people have other faiths. I've shared that I'm a Christian, and in my Christian journey, I've always believed that God made me, and He had a plan and He had a purpose for me when He made me. So in the midst of the darkest days, the most trying times in my life, I would ask God for help. I would literally close my eyes and say, Jesus, please help me. And that's all I think people need, is to call on a faithful God. You see, I don't believe there's any human being that's on this earth just for the sake of being on the earth. I believe we all have a purpose. So I started to get close to God again. You see, the distraction was gone. This man that I had been so obsessed with, that distraction was gone. And so I began to have a relationship with God. My good friend had allowed me to move into his flat and to use that while I was setting myself up. Now, I think it's important to note, I've left a relationship, moved town, which means I left my job. So I've moved out in blind faith. I don't have a job. I didn't have a home until my friend offered me a home, and I had a baby. It wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy journey. It was difficult. Around the time that I was having this move, there was Katrina floods in America. And so that was all that was playing on the news. And I was seeing so many people displaced, so many people becoming homeless, and just seeing the desperation that they had. It was almost a comfort for me because it made me not feel alone. Even though I could see people were going through pain, people were going through suffering. I mean, so many people lost their lives. So many people lost everything, their homes, cars, everything that they had. And really, really were down in the dumps. I could relate. I could relate with them because I was going through the same thing. I'd given up everything that I had. And here I was, in a flat with a little girl. New beginning with not much. The little bit finances that I had managed to take soon ran out. And I've just got to continue to talk about how my faith in God saved me and helped me. The first challenge I faced was I could get a job, But what would I do with the baby? Because childcare in the UK is expensive. Childcare in the UK is the most expensive cost that people have. Your mortgage or your rent normally is a lot cheaper than your childcare. But I had this challenge. What would I do with the baby, even if I got a job? And as God would have it, I spoke with a friend, another friend, a different friend, and she knew someone in the city that I was now living in, that I had not planned to go to, but was my sort of runaway to city. I ended up in the city. And this woman was willing to look after my baby for just a pittance. I'm talking about 2 cups of coffee. So I was really excited. That helped me look for a job. I'm going to say within about a month, let's say 5 weeks, I had a new job. I had a childminder, and my life was beginning. It was difficult because the feelings of guilt, of just running away, leaving, the heartache I felt because I did love him, and I found myself heartbroken, really heartbroken for what I had dreamed of, for what I had believed for. Because you see, that relationship mattered. And I think for anyone that's coming out of a abusive relationship, be kind to yourself, because you are going to miss that person. You wake up next to a person every day. One of the things I think that I found the most difficult was waking up. Because you see, when I'd go to bed, I could pray. But I had spent years waking up in someone's arms. You know, waking up and having that conversation with this person, as abusive as he was my day-to-day person. And now I was waking up, and it was just me and my little girl. It was scary. It was really scary. I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. Thoughts of going back home to my mum and my dad were there. I knew one thing: I'd never separate from my daughter. I would never send her home, and I would never leave her anywhere. So this journey, we were going to do it together. And I tell you what, that little girl, she was the best behaved child, the most beautiful child, and so in tune with my feelings. There'd be times I would be in the bath, because that's my crying place. Whenever I'm down, I cry in the bath or in the shower. So I would be in this bath and I'd be crying. And of course, when she'd walk in, I'd wipe my face, and just carry, and hi, baby. And she'd be like, Mommy, are you okay? Mommy, why Mommy crying? And I'd be like, how do you know Mommy's crying? She was so in tune with me. But she gave me the strength I needed. So within a very short space, I had a job, I had a home, and I met up with one of my best friends from primary school, and she and her partner lived in this town. And yeah, God had given me a friend, he'd given me a job, he'd given me a home. I knew we were going to be okay. Little by little, I moved into house, guys, with the bed only, and just the little furniture that I'd managed to take with me, coming out. And I felt like I needed to get rid of what I had brought with me and get new things. Conveniently, there was a secondhand charity shop. It was actually massive. It was like in a warehouse where I could go pick what was affordable and what was something I wanted. So I was able to replace things, get new things, just so that my new start was going to be a positive start. It was exciting. It was bittersweet. It was exciting because everything I got was like, oh, this is me now. This is me now. This is me now. So it really felt good. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I had moments where I'd be overwhelmed. I'd be so overwhelmed, like to the point I didn't see a future. There were tough times, guys. I will always share the positives, but I'll also acknowledge the truth that there are dark times. And there's so many times in a mother's life that we feel inadequate, that we feel we're not doing enough. We feel we're failing in some way. But my mum was my best friend. So when I'd have those moments, I'd call home and mum would just cheer me up. My mum, her name was Felicity, was one of the most amazing people. Do you know a mother's love is the greatest love ever, I think. And mothers are so in tune. I would phone my mum, and the way I would say hi mummy, hi ma, whichever tone I used, she knew what was happening. And there'd be times I'd phone and I'd be like, oh gosh, I just want to offload. And she'll say, what's wrong? And I'll say nothing. And she will make me laugh. She will tell me the most silliest things. Just a sense of humor was amazing. She would crack me up, guys. I would come off that phone hysterically laughing, not sharing what was wrong, not even having told her what was wrong, but feeling a million times better. So now I got to a stage where I realized I've got God, I got my baby, I got my mom and my dad, and even though they are a long way away, they're there with me, because my mom and my dad I spoke to every day. Shared everything that I was going through with them. And I know they prayed, I know they sought God on my behalf, and I know that through that I was able to make it. Now I developed some friends in the city. I invited some of my friends also to come from London. Had friends come over. We had an amazing weekend where we had a barbecue. And after the barbecue, we decided to go to a local pub. Now, when we say a pub in England and you think of a pub in Africa, very, very different. Firstly, pubs in England, you can actually even go with your kids up to, I think, 7 o'clock at night. So most pubs have a garden outside where they've got swing slides. There's tables and chairs outside, table and chairs on the inside. And we went to this pub, and it was just a regular English pub. Now, the pubs in England are not seedy like you would see in other places. You have men, women of any age. So you could go into a pub and find an 80-year-old man having a drink, or an 80-year-old woman. They're not actually used as places of ill repute, which when I grew up, the only people that went to pubs were men and women of the night. So the pubs here are very different. They're a lot less they're just not quite bad. Anyone can go in. This is truthfully, anyone can go. So we went to this pub, and there happened to be a DJ. And the DJ was playing, and he had an MC. And the MC is who would become my next baby daddy. My weakness in my youth was height. If a man was tall, he was all. That's how I felt like. I used everything. And I like my men dark as well. So I turned, looked at this MC. He looked at me. We kind of like checked each other out, but there's thousands of people. There's hundreds of people in this pub. It meant nothing. I looked at him, thought he was interesting. We were introduced briefly. It was a fleeting moment. It was one of those moments you meet someone and you're attracted to them and you think, okay, this guy's quite good looking. And then nothing. Fast forward about 6 months later, I have another friend come over, and this time my friend wants to go out to a club. I've never been to a club in the city, and we went out. Got to the club, and it was a friends club. So He introduced me to the DJ that was there, and guess who was there? The MC. This time, it was like a one-to-one introduction, not like the last time we had a group of friends with me. It was just me and my friend and him. Then I sort of went, and where we were seated, he emceed for as long as he was, but then he left and came and sat and spoke with me. We spent that night. That was like one of the first times I felt a flutter of my heart again. Like I could feel that this guy's quite a attractive man. Now, unlike baby daddy one, who was very handsome and modelish, this one was brutish. He looks like a man. You see him and he looks like a man. He's attractive but not handsome by the standards that, of the last man. There was just something about this guy. We exchanged numbers. After exchanging numbers, he said to me, can I call him? And I said to him, okay, I'll call you, don't call, I'll call you, kind of thing, just so that I wouldn't be bombarded with phone calls or messages or texts and just this affection. I'm gonna say maybe 3 months went by before I actually called him, and at that stage I'd lost his number. But one thing that had happened was, when I met him and I asked him where he was from, the country he was from, a friend of mine was from the Caribbean as well. He's from the Caribbean. My friend was from the Caribbean and happened to know him, which was the most ironic thing, is that the next week I met up with my friend and she's like, what did you do this week? And I'm like, oh, we went out. And she's like, how did it go? First time out. I said, oh, it was really nice. And then I said, oh, but I met this guy. It was funny because his mum and her were very good friends. So it was like, oh, okay, interesting. Didn't do nothing with his number. I think I misplaced it. I don't even think I stored it on my phone. I think he actually wrote it down. And then I misplaced it. Fast forward to my second mistake. I met baby daddy one. I've met this amazing guy, and then in the time that I've met this guy, I actually met another guy. Join me as I tell you the next guy's story. This one was again another bad choice. Join me. I will share the story of the man who got married on me.